have seen me speak in room 101 will know there are a fair few things which annoy me. But there is one thing which I've been holding on to for a little while, because I can't really do it justice in 1 minute. People will ascribe characters to entire groups of animals. For example, saying that sharks or spiders are all evil. But the one that bugs me the most is the idea that cats are cold. Because I know it's not true. There have always been cats in my household when I've been growing up, and indeed in my family's household as well. And the one word I would never use to describe any of them is cold. And I am now going to disprove this point to you, if any of you hold this belief, by telling you about 3 cats that I currently have back home. Shadow, seen here helping my dad with his work, is a big docile softie. He's very fond of nuzzling faces. If you pick him up for a hug, he'll give you a face a little rub. He's a bit dim sometimes. We'll be sitting around watching telly of an evening. He'll come in from the outside, meowing loudly as if to ask, where is everyone? He'll be doing this in full view of us. He'll be able to see us, but he's still panicking, looking around as if we've all turned invisible or something. After a while, he usually does see me and then comes out my lap though. Sometimes he's a very amenable cat. You can scoop him up from where he's sitting, plonk him somewhere else. He won't bat an eyelid. Just stay napping. Sometimes, however, he's very stubborn. You can pick him up, you can move him, and literally the second you put him down and you move back to where he was. If you move him off a chair so you can sit on it, he'll come and sit on your lap, as if to say, this was my chair. I like being at this precise longitude and latitude, and I will stay here. Fundamentally though, he is a big softie. For about a week or so over Christmas, he would come up into my room very early in the morning, annoying me usually, but he'd come and curl up on my pillow, displacing me somewhat, hence my irritation. But a couple of times he'd come up and curl up my pillow next to my head, and rest his head on my shoulder. And just for a couple of hours in the morning, just lie there. It's really sweet. Just a moment of pure, carefree joy. Now look at those 2 handsome devils there. This is Gibson. Now for some reason, when we take photos of him, his eyes seem to catch the light more than the others, so it looks like they're glowing. I actually trained him to climb up there. Pick him up, he'll come climb up on my arm like a parrot. Annoys the hell out of my mum, because she spends the entire term while I'm here at uni trying to de-train him and stop him doing that. And in about an hour of my return home, he's straight back up there. He's a very cheerful cat. He'll often come up, meowing at us, asking for a bit of attention. You know, you'll give him a scratch behind the ear and you stop. He'll try and headbutt your hand a bit more to get a bit more attention. You can actually put him into a sort of trance if you rub his ear between your thumb and forefinger. It's quite remarkable. He's perfectly still, with the exception of the end of his tail, which just twitches slightly. Gibson is the most prolific hunter of our 3 cats. Occasionally he does come in and bring in mice and other such things. So when he does come in from the outside meowing with a muffled, I've got my mouth full meow, there's a usual panic. We go, what's he got? What's he got? Has he got a thing? Usually, however, it's a twig. Often fairly big twigs. We're quite impressed as he's able to get them into the house. But the most common sound of Gibson's victorious hunting comes from within the house. His favourite prey? Woolly things. Hats, scarves, gloves, he's not fussy. Once he has retrieved these items, he'll proceed to try and hunt them. We have no idea why he does this. He's been neutered. Which is honestly a question that has puzzled us for a long time. We usually interrupt him before he gets to try it out. Like I say though, he's a very cheerful cat. He's infectiously cheerful. He looks generally pretty happy. And he'll always be ready to greet you with a nice cheerful chat. Finally, we come to Midnight. Now her mood is the most variable, especially when it comes to dealing with her brothers. They're of the same litter. Sometimes, perfectly content, happily curl up around each other without much bother. But sometimes she can't stand to be in the same room as them. The slightest hint of the others, she'll be growling at them. She's a very affectionate cat, much like the others. she will often enjoy sitting on people's laps, usually when it's most inconvenient. My mum will be watching telly of an evening. She'll not be doing anything other than that, and Midnight will not be interested. But as soon as my mum goes for the crossword or the knitting, suddenly the cat wants to be on her lap. And when I say on the lap, I mean on the newspaper, on the lap. She's also the loudest purrer of our three cats. She's the smallest cat. When she's purring, she's capable of producing a ridiculous racket. Sometimes with minimal provocation. She'll be curled up somewhere, and all you have to do is sit next to her. She'll look up and start purring frantically. Give her a scratch behind the ear, and she purrs even more. As I said, she's generally a very affectionate cat. She does tend to sit near me. She's quite fond of me, which is quite sweet. Of an evening, I usually sit on a big armchair when I'm watching the telly, and she either curls up on the arm next to me, or on the back of the chair behind me. She's usually pretty docile. I'm just having a nice little nap. Occasionally, she'll see her tail twitch. Suddenly she's very interested, and starts swatting at her tail and playing with her tail quite frantically, which, when she's about this close to your head, a little nerve-wracking. You often see me sitting in the chair and even watching the telly, just going, slowly retreating away. Yeah. In spite of her frantic playing and occasional grumpiness, she is a very sweet cat. You'll be stroking her. She'll often pat you if you stop to try and encourage stroking. She's a big fan of kneading when she's sitting on laps. It's kind of behaviour cats do. It's kind of a nesting behaviour to get herself comfortable. It's perfectly fine wearing your really thick jeans, but thin pyjamas, not so great. She also has been known to grab hold of your hand and rub it on her head, which is phenomenally sweet. She's only done it about 2 times, really. So, I've told you about my cats here. The docile softie, the cheerful hunter, and the affectionate, occasional grumpy monster. There are many ways in which I would describe my cats. Cold is not one of the words I'd use. Now I know what you're thinking, it's 3 cats, it's anecdotal evidence. But it's not just that. I have never known a cat to be cold. Even when I'm out walking and I see a random cat, I don't know who they are, I've never seen them before, but they will still be perfectly friendly and amenable. We don't take sweeping generalizations in many different ways. We wouldn't ascribe one personality trait to an entire group of people, and people who do that are usually shouted down as ignorant. So why do we allow that here? My cats are lovely, and I resent any thought that says otherwise.